Today we're going to be exploring auto-completion in the workflow, and some of the stuff we'll be doing will be some of the more complicated auto-completion which I haven't done for a while, so we'll have to kind of explore that a little bit and look on the wiki and try and find the documentation for that. There will probably be some false starts, but let's start with simple auto-completion. So first of all, what do I mean by auto-completion? Well, when you create an item or when you edit an item, you have this this system in EPrints where as you start typing in certain fields, it will suggest values. So we can see that these are all the trans fields in the repository, and it will fill out the kind of the name and the initials, and if there was an email address set, it would fill that out too. This EPrints comes by default with this set, and I'm not sure if it's set on here. I don't know. But what we want to do, what we'll do initially to start off with is we'll put some auto-completion on the corporate creators field. And we'll use simple auto-completion based on a file with a list of corporations we're interested in. So view configuration. So it should all go in the autocomplete directory, I believe. And then we're going to create a file called corporations.autocomplete. And we will edit this file, and we'll just put in a list, a straight list of values that we want to go in this field. So Microsoft, Apple, Google, the lesser spotted elk, computer, software, company, and so we'll save that. So these are this is our authority list we've now created. If we have a quickly verify, if we take a quick look at this, we can see this is the contents of the file. So now we need to take a look at the workflow. And so if we start by taking a look at creators, we'll see title, abstract, thesis type. Creators, we've got this input lookup URL property of the field. And this is calling a CGI script that lives in the EPrints CGI directory. So let's copy that out, and we will paste it in the corporate creators field, wherever the corporate creators field appears. So we've got it appearing twice in two different kind of conditional sections. And the script we're going to use is simple file. Now we can actually check which scripts are available on GitHub. So let's have a quick look at that now. In the EPrints project, this CGI directory. Now if we look back at the workflow, we'll see CGI path /users/lookup So we have here users lookup, and we've got this simple file. We've also got file, which is a bit more complicated. We'll take a look at that later. This lets you fill in multiple fields from one value, but we've got this simple file script that that is expecting a parameter, and the parameter it's expecting is file. Now let's have a look at the EPrints wiki to see exactly how to do this. I believe there's good documentation on this. I believe, if I look back at this, this is something I wrote in 2007 mostly. Let's see if it still works. So if you look, we've got input lookup simple file, and then we've got this input lookup params, and this is passed to the CGI file. And the file was called corporations. I believe. We'll check that in a sec. We need to copy these parameters up to the other corporate creators field here. I say the other corporate creators field. This is a conditional, and it will only appear once because when it's a book, it will print creators, corporate creators, and editors. Otherwise, it will just print creators and corporate creators. Let's save those changes, see if it lets us. Let me check, is it corporations to autocomplete? Yep. So hopefully, if we now manage deposits, have a look at corporate creators, we can start putting in, and we've got our values. The lesser spotted elk company software engineer, the UK government. And if we select one of these, it just pops in. Now, you have to bear in mind that this is non-binding. Any depositor can actually change this and no problem. EPrints won't complain. If you want to restrict values to a list of kind of values, then you should use a subject tree, or like a set, like this is a set of values that they can choose from. But if you want them to be able to type, and you want to suggest things that they might want, then authority lists are for you. This auto-completion is for you. So that's simple auto-completion. That will fill in one field with one value, all very, very simple. What if we want to fill in a journal title, an ISSN, and a publisher, an official URL, multiple fields, which are all kind of tied together? And for that, we need the file script, which is a bit more complicated, does a bit more. The fact that the code is here is not really relevant, but there is good documentation for this on the wiki. So let's follow that, and let's do some file auto-completion on the multiple fields that represent the publication of an item. So the first thing we need to do is create our new file. We'll call this publications.autocomplete. And then we're gonna have some values. So a file autocomplete list needs, for each line, each entry is a line, and the left-hand side of the line, the first part of the line, is what you're matching. And then there's a tab, and then there's like a fragment of HTML that defines how these fields are filled in. So in this component, we're going to fill in the publication field, the publisher field, the ISSN field. And so we'll do it like that. So if we have, I'll only do one because it's going to take a little while to set this up. So we're going to have, say, birds, and then, oh, I can't tab in here. I need to use a text editor. So we have birds as one journal. We're going to have birds and bats as another title. So that's the string to match. And then we need a list item tag. And inside there, if we just refer back to the documentation, we need a list of we need a list item which is what is going to be displayed as a suggestion for the person who clicks on the suggestion. So what we will use there is so we can have some kind of messages from the repository in here. We can style this. How do you change the color of a list item? I think this will change the text color. Color, yeah. So we can make this color red. So we can do a bit of different style to give people prompts, and then we look back here, and what I'm just looking for is how this fits together. Yes, so the unordered list is inside the list item, I believe. Let's give it a try. So we need now, let's just create our unordered list. And then we need these and this is kind of the JavaScript understanding where to put this item, and so we're going to put it in the publication field. So this is the value going in there. And what we'll do is we'll just copy that and use it as a template for the other one. got two distinct values, and then we need to make this one line. I type it out on multiple lines just to make it that bit easier to see. And then what I need to do is I need to get this whole value into just before the closing li. I think we'll test it and see what happens. And then select all, copy and paste it in so we can get our tabs into our field here. So we still have our tab character, but if we press tag in here, of course, we'll jump to the next thing. Have we got? So let's save changes on that and make sure that we don't have line breaks. So you can see we've got these two single lines in here with what we're matching and this kind of file for this autocomplete file format that will allow the JavaScript to put things in. So we now need to edit the workflow. And we'll copy our simple file we need to find the publication. Need article, here we go. So currently this is on the lookup the journal by name autocompletion, and we're going to change this to file to use our new authority file. And I hope that works. Let's have a look. I will be amazed if it works without having to do any debugging. So this is an article, and we go down to publications. Oh. Right, so let's debug this. What's wrong? So first of all, let's check that we put this in the right place. Let's check that we got this right. So lookup file equals, oh, did we do this? I don't think we changed the file, did we? File parameter. Yeah. It's called publications, wasn't it? Yes. problem with copying and pasting. You need to remember. So let's have another go. And let's hope this works. So there we go. We have, as you can see, there's birds, 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 there's birds and bats, and if we click on one, it should fill in the ISSN and the publisher. And there we go. Oh, why is it? You need to do a bit more debugging. Looks like it isn't filling in a value in this field. Did I need to check my admin? Aha, look, I spelled publication wrong. Let's just check that it hasn't inserted any line breaks. No, it hasn't. And let's give this another try. Yeah, birds and bats, 5678, 5678 in flying publications, and birds, 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 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 in avian publications. And that's file autocompletion. Now, when you have autocompletion to do from authority lists or database tables or other systems like your LDAP server, there are some existing lookup programs. What they all return is this the same HTML structure. So if we look at something like journal by name, for example. So journal by name, what it's going to do is it's going to do a search in the database for things, and then it's going to create this same, you see, this same that we've just produced, this same HTML structure, and it's going to create an unordered list, and it's going to build up this structure to pass back. So when you do build an autocompletion script, or your developer does, this is what needs to be returned. So all of these scripts, they make queries, or they build up data, and they return these things to EPrints. And we can actually look at this, that if we go to CGI lookup /file file equals journals.autocomplete q equals bird, we can see, CGI, it's users, isn't it? It's publications.autocomplete. So when this autocomplete, my spelling today is quite far off. So when you do this query, what it's doing is it's calling this URL and passing this parameter in, and what's being passed back is this. So as long as your autocomplete script, if you kind of have to build a bespoke one, passes this back, then that will be all well and good. That will be understood. So and if we can just check here that we've only got one with bats in, if we pass through bats, we just get the one with bats in the bit to match. And notice it's only the unordered list. it's not the match string doesn't come back. So you can match on anything, and in fact, you know, if you want to, for example, match on an ISSN in this field, you can. We can adjust the autocomplete to have on the left-hand side the autocomplete the whatever search keys kind of you want, and what that means is that you can use the same autocomplete file in multiple fields. So let's take a look. If we put our ISSN before the tab, then we can search on ISSN2, which means if we edit the workflow, we can add this same autocompletion to the ISSN field. Where are we? It would help if I edited it. We can add this same autocompletion to the ISSN field, and that will just work. So if we pass these same parameters, this same kind of these same XML parameters, and save this. Now, when we edit an item, we can also enter and get this up. And perhaps in this this bit of prompt text, we should probably put the ISSN2, so you can click that and it will fill in again these fields. So that's in a nutshell autocompletion. The documentation is pretty good. We've got both this this documentation which walks you through essentially what I've walked you through and gives you a bit more. We can do from a database table, or but we've also got some technical documentation that you can reference, and this takes you through what these do. So the wiki is the documentation on this is actually pretty good, but of course if you find something, feel free to improve it. And that's autocompletion.